There we go. So coming back to this, the notion or thinking about caregivers, it's something that is very traditional, something that's very beautiful, right? We've got all of these generations living under one roof. How is that impacted now in today in modern society, just in terms of how a caregiver is feeding their family? And is that impacted at all by our Western diet and our Western culture? What influences have had an impact there?
The first thing is mostly the families are not joint families anymore, and mostly single families are there. Still, the lot of pressure of taking care of your family is still there, because traditionally this was a big job for a woman to take care of family. Still taking care. It's our tradition. I mean, in every tradition it is there. When it comes to Western culture, like I said, the popular food chains, sorry, they introduce a lot of different type of Western food, and those food have a lot of meat, and that affected a lot the different way of cooking and the requirements. Like kids are asking different food, fathers, mothers, or grandparents, in-laws, their requirement is different. They are still focusing more on the traditional food. And another thing has changed is the way production of the agriculture industries change. The food quality is compromised. The rice we used to eat 100 years ago is not same. The wheat is not same. And the ancient grains, people forgot, and it's coming back in the market. When gluten-free came, now we are focusing back on Asian grains, but it was lost somewhere in last few decades. But now we are working on it, and it's coming back. That Western food and coming back on the traditional food, and now still there is a fight going on between which one is better. Where I think health coaches also representing this. You understand that how we are going back on traditional healthy wholesome diet. We are going back on grains, eating whole, eating complete meal. I mean, traditionally our diet was, the plate was everything you need: carb, fat, protein, everything. And another thing I want to mention here is those Asian diet was mostly carb based. It was complex carb, but now it is more of a simple carbs. So that difference is bringing that cardiovascular disease in our society, and people are suffering a lot with diabetes, heart, blood pressure issues, or related to that. There's a lot going on. Cholesterol issues are like every other person is getting cholesterol. It's like common. So those changes, the processing and the different diet introduction. Now the variety. Traditionally, India has, you start from Nepal, the top, and you go at the end of India. Every town, I think every state has different diet. Traditionally, we are so rich. We have so many different varieties of food there, and then on top of it, we got Western food. And then the woman who was taking care of the house only, was a caregiver completely, now has to do work. So there's a lot of stress on her own health because of the process, and simple carbs, and the quality of the food is compromised. Her time is compromised. She does not have time to give to, she's not giving her, like, I will not say not doing her best, but she's doing her best, but she does not have enough to give.
There's only so many hours in the day. So
24 hours is not enough. Exactly. She needs 48 hours in 24 hours.
Yeah, and so it's interesting that you say that, because I think a lot of Westerners don't understand the variety of diets in Indian culture. I think in America we're exposed to a very small snippet of what Indian cuisine is and don't realize kind of the vast array of food choices that are out there. One of the things that you mentioned, incredibly interesting, is just that, right? Uh, about splitting time, and also the influx of Western diet and Western um, cuisine into something that is already rich and varied, and now kind of putting another option, and a really quick option, in front of a family. So, instead of having those rich, complex carbs, which are really very good for you and good for your health and well-being, you're now replacing it with things that are a lot more simple carbs, meat, animal protein, and depending on the quality of that animal protein, may or may not be nutritive. So that's all very interesting in terms of, when we think about the person who's the primary caregiver. Along those same lines, what are some things that then people should be, if I'm a caregiver and I think about time, and I'm thinking about the stress, and I'm thinking about how my time is split, how then should I really be thinking about nutrition? Should I be just food based? I'm going to get that food, or are there other things that I need to be considering when I think about my health and I think about my well-being?
Um, for that, as a health coach, I mean, you are a health coach too, you will also agree with me. We health coaches, we don't go with the food, what is on your plate. We go with the food, which is majority, which is called primary food, is how's your mental health, how you feel,
Mhm.
other than food plate in your life. So that's where primary food comes in, and that includes, your relationship. How's that? Your home environment, your career, your physical activity. We don't consider that as as part of our lifestyle. Asians, I mean, sorry, specifically Indians, exercise is, I don't know where it's lost. We are coming from a country where yoga was the most popular. It's popular in world, but somehow it's not popular in India anymore. So doing exercise, meditation, spirituality, all these things, it's like a circle of life, and you have to make a balance between that circle. And once all these things are balanced, only then the food you're going to eat, your body is in that calming, balanced state. The food you're going to eat, you're going to get the whole 100% nutrition out of it. So, it's very important to balance the other aspects of life too. And the most important is relate. I mean, all are same, but as a caregiver, relationship of yours to your family, to people you are working with, if you're already stressed, you cannot give your 100% to anyone, even not even to yourself. And I believe in self-care a lot. If I don't have something, I cannot give it to others. I have to love myself to love others.
Right.
So that's I think it's something we caregivers need to think about, that if the captain of the ship, I mean, I'm going to say this like a, if the captain if the captain of the ship is not healthy or strong or don't know how to drive the ship, he's not going to be able to save the other people on the ship.
It's true. If you're at the helm, you have to be there mentally and physically. So thinking about that, right? We have primary food, which would be all of those other components. So am I exercising? How am I spiritually? How am I mentally? And then we have our secondary food, which is the actual food that is on our plate, the food that we're eating. Thinking about that, then how does you know it's interesting because you think about caregivers from that perspective of taking care of the other things. How can we put that in perspective for someone when they're saying, oh, primary food, secondary food? As a health coach, maybe someone comes into the office. What comes into your office and meets with you, what are some of the things that they might say versus what you actually see, right? I come into the office and I'm saying, I got to lose weight. You know, what are some of the things that you might then explore with that person who is coming in to just, with this mindset of I've got to lose weight, I got to lose weight. What are some of the things you might explore with that person?
Um, well, that's again a primary food we are talking about. I eat a lot of ice cream. Okay, like say somebody comes and say, I eat a lot of ice cream and I want to lose weight, and what should I do? Is it ice cream is a problem? No, I love sugar. I have a sugar, taste buds, and I love sweets and this and is sugar is a problem? No, sugar is not a problem. Where it is coming from, what is triggering that craving of the sugar is the main reason. So why I want to eat so much sugar? Maybe my body is not, maybe it's need energy. Of course, at the end of the day, sugar comes from simple carbs or carbs, and then any food or anything you eat, it breaks down, and you get your body makes sugar out of it. I mean, carbs, and then your body makes energy out of it. So you are looking for from that ice cream, you're looking for energy.
Mm-hmm.
So why you don't have enough energy? Are you eating balanced food? No. Are you emotionally balanced? Is that some emotion is triggering? Is that some insecurity is triggering? And I think you also, work with clients, and where they come, and then once they are emotionally balanced, they are listened properly, they behave better, they act better in their life. If their lifestyle is balanced, okay, my emotions are in place, kind of, I got the heck of it, and then I got what I'm more clear in my brain, I'm more structured. Okay, and now I have to eat a balanced diet. Of course, if I'm structured here, I'm going to take better decision. If I'm less stressed, I'm going to take better decision. Everybody knows ice cream, too much of anything is bad. And think about it, if I'm eating ice cream 4 times a day and I'm in normal frame of mind, I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. So coming to health coach is the advantage. The best part, because they work on primary food and secondary food. Mm. They work on your emotions, they work on your physical activity, they work on your spirituality, they work on meditation, they work on your relationships if you are interested to talk about.
Right.
So I'll say, if you want to know the difference between a health coach and a dietitian and let's say a trainer, this is more like a trainer is going to give you a physical exercise training, how to make muscles, how to use your body. That's one thing. You go to dietitian, you get the diet, a specific diet you're looking for. When you come to a health coach, you get all the other aspects. You don't have to go deep into it. Even if you go little into every aspect of your life and you're making it balanced by a person who can guide you, is exactly where you want to be. If that is where you want to be, health coach is there.
Right. So that really is, when you think about it, the difference is maybe a dietitian or a personal trainer, they're going to give you the what, right? This is what you should eat. These are the exercises that you should do. The health coach is going to help you figure out how, right? How do I do these things in my life?
So I'm not, if I'm not ready I don't want to do exercise. Okay, a health coach is going to say, okay, don't do it. What is stopping you? Like, going into the root cause, that's what I believe in, going into the root cause of the problem rather than putting a band-aid on it. Mm. Okay, let's fix it. Okay, how about you do exercise for just 2 weeks and then you'll be fine and then you're going to lose weight and everything is going to be okay now. It's not a one-day thing. It's a lifestyle change. You have to do it. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor or you just need coaches. No, you have a problem, go to the doctor. Get yourself checked. But then making those lifestyle changes, those, you need a mentor, somebody who can guide you. Right. So that, under one roof, it's I think it's there. That's what I believe in.
Yeah. And that brings me back to something that you were saying, and I think it really should be highlighted, right? Is that a lot of the times what we think is the problem um, isn't necessarily the problem. There are triggers there that are making us think about that. And there can be a healthy alternative, right? So if I'm drinking, 10 cups of coffee a day because I'm so tired, is it really I have a caffeine addiction, or am I so tired because I'm only sleeping 5 hours at night, and I need to start working on my sleep habits and my sleep hygiene as opposed to worrying about cutting out all of the cups of coffee, because if I have better sleep and I'm feeling better rested, I might not reach for all of that coffee.
Yes.
So that's something that's really important. I think a lot of people take that for granted, kind of the bigger picture that we have there. So thinking about that and thinking along those lines, what are some insights or maybe some tips you could give to a caregiver, right, who is maybe feeling, I'm here. And I need, what are some things I should maybe be thinking about or doing, or where should I go? I'm just stuck. I'm right here. I don't know what to do. I know I want to make a change, but I'm at square one. I don't know what to do. What are some of the steps I should take, and what are some things I should be thinking about?
Um, I think there are a couple of things can be done. You need to first thing you need to write everything on a piece of paper. Start writing things. When it is too much going on here, you're not going to get any answers. Put it on a paper, write what are my problems, what I'm looking for, what I need to do this. The answer is always there in you. If you don't get the answer, that's where you're looking for help. So putting it on the piece of paper, that's going to help you understand what's going on. And like we just spoke about primary food, look for a relationship. How's that? How's my career going? Am I happy with what I'm doing? Or something like, what do I need? Am I getting something? You know, how much love I give to myself, how much time I give to myself. Going for nails, I don't think it's going to help. But going in a park for a long walk or a drive by yourself, that's going to help. Those 10-15 minutes is going to give you to unwind things, relax. And walk is very good to, unwind your emotions. I mean, apart from whatever the 10,000 things they say about walk, I'll say go for a walk that helps to unwind your emotions. Mm-hmm. Instead of looking in your phone and listening to music, just look at the nature, go for a walk and breathe. 92%, I mean, they say that 92% of your nutrition also you get it from your breathing, your whatever you inhale. So why not do other things more than eating food on the plate? Of course, the nutrition on the plate is very important, but other aspects of life are also important. Taking that in mind, if you are making a structure first, even if you write 10,000 problems, this is not right, that's this, my mom did that, this, my son said this, my husband said this, I'm not enough. Remember that going back to yourself, everybody is enough as long as they can remember who they are. If we as a caregiver have this job, that means we can handle it. That's why. Because we can do it, that's why we are doing it from generations to generations to generations. We have that capability. So believe in yourself.
I love it. What a powerful message. And I think it's a powerful message to caregivers. It's such an important role. And, you're right. We've been doing it for forever. And so, we are totally capable. Some of my key takeaways here, times have changed and caregivers have a lot different weight on their shoulders. We're working as well as working in the home, which is something we did not always have to do. Caregivers did not always have to do. So it's like a double duty. We've lots of influence, big box influence, right? Big brand influence, which has changed the way we have traditionally eaten. And even when we're cooking at home, the products that we buy have changed.
Yes.
Having food be modified, to even just what is there and available to us is different. The bigger picture is that we need to think a little bit more holistically.
Yes.
So what's on the plate is super important, but what's all the other stuff is probably doubly important, because if I'm not right here, the decisions I make about what I eat are going to be very, very poor, are going to be impacted. And, we really need to, first steps when I'm thinking about, I want to make a lifestyle change. What is it that I want? So, or what is it that what's troubling me? So I have the problem. I figured out the problem, and, I'm going to sit down. You spoke a little bit, and we spoke a little bit about like a dietitian, a trainer versus a health coach, and the differences from that, right? Having the what to do. Now, how do I execute what I have to do? Um, you know, in closing, thinking about that and thinking about all of those high points, um, you know, what are some things I think folks typically think about, good diet versus bad diet, just in terms of food choices? From the perspective of a health coach, I mean, I certainly have my take as a health coach. What might, some of your insights be, just in terms of fueling your body? What are, you know, is the, should people go back to eating their traditional diet? Do you think we can find balance? Can we find balance in the two? And, what are some things, or what are some things that folks should consider when they're making their meals, when they're cooking, when I'm in the grocery store, or these days now ordering online and having my food delivered? Like, what are some of the things that I should be thinking about, when I go to purchase my food?
Um, when I go to purchase my food, the one thing is I have to start reading labels. If I'm going to a grocery store, I have to make sure that I start looking at the grocery. I'm sorry. Sorry. So when you're going to a grocery store, look at the box. Anything coming in the box, packaged form, you need to read the label. Anything you don't understand, that means you should not eat. You should not buy it. Anything you see on the label, if it is more than 5, I'll say, give and take, don't buy it. We have to make a, the other day I was talking to you, remember the bread? So bread we buy, all you need is wheat in that to make bread out of it. Let's say there is a big process and you need to, either you're making it salty or sour or something, only then. Indian traditional bread, you get that flat bread, you don't need anything except wheat. The flour, you get it. That's all you need. But getting a bread, you see the ingredients, they put sugar, this, that, and some of the things you cannot even read. It's like, what is that? I will say, see if the ingredients are too many, try not to buy that. And then next thing is ingredients you don't understand, definitely don't buy. Then it comes to the food which is available. Focus, when you go to a store, look at where are the fresh fruits and vegetables. That is your aisle where you have to spend most of the money. By the way, they are the least calorie-based food. Mm-hmm. So you're not gonna gain weight from there. So unless you are, putting something in it and processing it, the food is the lightest food and the most nutritious food you can get it from those few aisles of fruits and vegetables. I think that should be the majority of our food plate, because we need those. We are deprived from those nutrition because of the quality of the food, the processing, and the way it is traditionally, the way it was grown, and the way it is. The fruits and vegetable and other grains, the way they are grown, it does not have that much nutrition in it because the soil is not very
Mhm. Nutrient dense, yes, from over farming. We take nutrients out of the soil, and that's something I don't think a lot of people realize when they think about that's a whole different side conversation about shopping at farmers markets and the like, just because of how
Oh,
people
yeah.
are
That's another topic to discuss.
taking care of their soil. But those are great tips and something that I think people don't think a lot about. And just to highlight, when we say looking at food labels, there are the labels that the nutrition labels in terms of calories and protein and things like that. And then there are the labels, right, that have the ingredient lists, and really focusing on that ingredient list and seeing what's actually and thinking about it realistically, like you said, and we were having that conversation, how many things actually need to go into bread? And if there are 25 ingredients there, maybe I put that bread back and go grab something else that's different. That's also a great tip about the produce aisles, because that is where you're going to find a lot of your nutrient dense food, but least processed and least amount of calories, just in terms of calories from bad things, right? From simple carbs and sugars and things like that, and additives. So those are really, really just, I think, two key tips and things that people should think about when they are shopping.
I'm sorry, and I forgot to mention that wholesome diet, when we're looking for whole grains, whole wheat, I mean, wheat is not even, it's the whole, we can talk about hours and hours, but the food has to be wholesome. Try to avoid processed food.
Okay. Processed food. And when people think about processed foods, the way I contextualize it is, anything that comes in a box that has to be preserved is processed. So, when you think about it's like if you walk into Whole Foods, you'll find a whole counter of these beautiful pastas that are fresh, and then you'll go to the dried goods. Those are not. So that's been processed. And it's something to really consider, just in terms of what we're putting into our bodies and really seeking good health. Sonia, thank you so much for taking the time. This has been really insightful and very helpful. We here at Pasana are incredibly grateful and appreciative of the fact that you've taken time out of your schedule to sit and speak with us about health and wellness.
Thank you so much, Randy, for making me part of this. I am so grateful. Thanks a lot. And I'm always looking forward to do more, anything workshop or anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.